All right, I had a worksheet last night that hopefully you're getting more comfortable with doing the problems that we are working with here. And that's the process, once again, as you go through in this class. And anything new that you work on in anybody's class, you have a lot of uncomfortability usually to begin with. Then as you continue to work through the processes, the hope is that you become more and more comfortable at doing the problems and the process that we're dealing with doing the problems. And once again, that's hopefully something that you're getting used to in this class also. The key things to remember as you're going through this. First off, the idea is you have, am I in theta in degrees or x in radians? That's the first thing you take a look at. If I'm in x, I need to be in radians. If I am theta, I need to be in degrees. So that's the first thing that you take a look at. My suggestion to you yesterday was do problems 1 and 3 first. Do problems 1 and 3 first because those are in degrees. Those are in theta. Once you get done with the theta and the degrees, change it to radians, and then you can do the rest of the worksheet. Then you don't have to worry about flip-flopping back and forth because there's been numerous times that people will start out in theta and do the first problem and then do the entire quiz or worksheet in theta. And they miss everything on the test because they've done everything in theta and did not change it back into radians and degrees, or radians and dealing with x. So all the problems, all the worksheets are going to be set up very similar to this. There's going to be a few problems that you're going to be able to do in theta first. Then after you do the values that are problems in theta, change them into x and radians. When you're dealing with inverse sine, you got two values that you're going to be dealing with. You have the principal value and its supplement. When you're dealing with the inverse cosine, you have the principal value and the opposite. When you're dealing with a principal value, this is your calculator value. This is your calculator value. So when you're looking at your principal value, you're looking at your calculator value. When you're looking at a supplement, and you're in theta, we have 180 minus your principal value. When you are in x and radians, you have pi minus the principal value. And these general solutions, once again, these are plus or minus a period n, plus or minus a period n, plus or minus a period m, plus or minus a period n. When you have the very basic and general ones in 3 and 4, it's either 360 or 2 pi. When you go down the bottom, you have 360 divided by your b value, or I'm sorry, when you're in theta, we have 360 divided by b. When we are in x, we have 2 pi divided by b. Once again, division can be written either way with a fraction bar or with a division sign. A little bit easier when you have the fraction there. Questions you have on any of the problems? Yeah. Number 5 on the back. Okay, it's an inverse cosine one, which we haven't done many of them because I've stuck with the inverse sine. Find the two general solutions, first three positives. F of x equals 1 plus 4 cosine pi over 2, x plus 7. That's the correct problem, right? I'm going to make sure I got the right worksheet. And we are given f of x is equal to 2. So we're given f of x is equal to 2. So we have 2 is equal to 1 plus 4 cosine pi over 2 x plus 7. Your first steps are going to be the same each and every time. You're going to subtract your constant or take your constant over. Take your constant over and then divide by your coefficient. So you're going to subtract the 1, divide by 4. So we have 1/4 is equal to the cosine pi over 2 x plus 7. Those steps are going to be identical each and every time. Take your constant over, divide by your coefficient. Okay, next step, we have to get rid of cosine. What we do to both sides to get rid of our cosine. There. How do we get rid of cosine? Inverse cosine. So once again, we are in x, so we need to make sure we're in our radian mode. So we have the inverse cosine of 1/4. Hey, you get 1.32. Finger space pi over 2, x plus 7. But we took the inverse cosine. So to get our second value, when we're dealing with the inverse cosine, Chloe, what's our second value going to be? Negative 1.32. Okay, we do the principal value and its opposite. So we have negative 1.32, finger space pi over 2, x plus 7. Okay, we have to get rid of the pi over 2. So what do we do to both sides to get rid of pi over 2? Okay. Times by reciprocal, so go ahead. The nice thing about the inverse cosine is once you find the positive one, when you multiply by 2 over pi, you just throw a negative in front of that value. You don't have to clickety-clack through a second time. So you take the 1.32 times 2 divided by pi, get your value, is equal to x plus 7. Then we come over here, we have just the negative of that. Should come down to the 0.84 here. Then this will just be the negative over here. But now you don't want to translate from equation to equation now with the last part, because we're going to have to subtract 7, subtract 7, subtract 7, subtract 7. So here we're subtracting 7 from 0.84. Over there we're subtracting 7 from negative 0.84. So over there we have negative 7.84 plus or minus period n. Here we have negative 6.16 plus or minus period n. Period. Our b value is pi over 2. So we have 2 pi divided by pi over 2. So we flip and multiply. The pi's go bye-bye, so we're left with 2 times 2. So we have plus or minus 4n. First, smallest 3 positive values. Well, both of my values are negative to begin with. I can either add or subtract 4 and get the same values. I'll be at the exact same spot on my graph. Well, if I add 4 to both of these, I still stay negative. So what I have to do is just add another 4. I just keep adding 4s until I get positive. So if I have negative 7.84 plus 4, I get negative 3.84. I'm still negative. If I have negative 6.16 plus 4, I get negative 2.16. I'm still negative. So what do? We add another 4 to it. We add another 4 to it. So we keep adding 4s until we get positive values over there. Okay, that will give me a positive 0.16. This will give me 1.84. And then to go from 1 to 3, I play leapfrog. I add the period, 4.16. Other questions? Once again, the process is the same each and every time. And once again, also, as I talked about, you need to have patience. You need to have patience as you go through the problems. All right, we got 2 things here. We got an in-class assignment. Use your books, notes, homework. Just can't use each other. When you're done, you can turn this in. I have another worksheet up for you, very similar to what this one is. It's one of those things, if you feel you need to have additional practice, you do a couple problems. Maybe not do them all if you feel very comfortable with what you're doing. That's up to you. You make the call on that.